And welcome to episode 3 of Friday. I don't know, Friday's version of Ripping the Rack. I don't know. We still don't have a.
Fun with Fridays with Tim and Brian. I'm Brian. Hey guys.
I'm Tim.
Happy
That's it.
Friday, Tim.
That's our podcast. Congratulations, you listened to the whole thing.
Oh shit. It's Friday, Tim.
Dude, it is Friday.
It wasn't as long as last week. Last week seemed like the longest year of weeks.
Well, you had an election.
Yep, we did.
Yep.
Happy election results, by the way, for me at least.
Yeah,
if we could get someone to say I surrender, we'd be fine.
yeah, the Don's not going to say that.
No, he's not, but I think he'll resign the White House before he concedes. He will say, well, if no one's going to take my claims of fraud seriously, which, getting into that real quick. So when you voted, the presidential election was on the same ballot as the Senate and the House seats, correct?
Correct.
So if Donald Trump says the election was fraudulent, don't we have to throw out all those Republican elected representatives and Senate members that were elected as well? Because wouldn't the whole ballot be invalid, not just one vote?
Well, no, according to Don, it's just the presidential election that was fraud.
Yeah, because if the Senate really, or if the Democrats really wanted to rig that election, we'd have let Mitch McConnell and Susan Collins stay in office. Sure. Okay.
Well, I'm okay with Susan staying in, just for the simple fact is she's now the ranking member on the Senate Appropriations Committee, and that's the first time that someone from the state of Maine has been the head of that since 1930 something, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, and you know what? We'll probably get the same amount we got in 1930 out of that, about 50 cents.
Well, it's better than nothing.
Well, it's better than what she's given to us so far.
It's better than a kick in the balls.
Oh, happy Masters Week.
Oh, it's about time. Tigers won under.
I always love the piano. And then dance. A tradition like no other. Welcome to the Masters.
No, this is my favorite. This is my favorite golf tournament. Followed by the Open, followed by the U.S. Open, followed by the PGA.
See, we got 2 out of 3 there on the top favorites. Augusta, and then I love the British always because I love the courses they play. My third favorite tournament is, and it's not the Ryder Cup because that's an event. That's separate. The players. Yeah. I'm a players guy because I love Sawgrass.
I love Sawgrass, but I'm a majors first follower.
But the players is a major.
The players is not a major. It's not a major. Oh my God! Don't even go there. It's not a major.
Well, we can agree to disagree again.
Well, we're gonna have to because I'm right.
Yeah, okay. All right. I've dealt with this enough this week of being right. Okay.
Oh, hey, speaking of the election, how about Chappelle on SNL?
Oh, on Saturday Night Live? You know, it was really interesting to me that they chose him to host that one. I don't know if it was a coincidence, but he hosted immediately after Donald Trump won in 2016. And it was a much, much different monologue this time. That monologue was incredible. And I am quite sure that Dave Chappelle looked at Lorne Michaels. And for those of you who don't know, Lorne Michaels is the producer, has been ever since the beginning of Saturday Night Live. And he has a few rules, and one of which is you do not curse or you're not asked to be back to host. He doesn't want to pay the fines. He figures Dave Chappelle obviously does not give any fucks about that. That man said the N-word a whole lot.
Well, I mean, he didn't drop an F-bomb, which was good. But the monologue itself was it was awesome. Like, I listened to the whole thing. I watched it twice. I loved his monologue. I loved his delivery. The only thing that would have made that monologue better was if there were about 10,000 people in the crowd.
That too.
You know.
You know what else is funny, though? If you look at the end, and Kelly noticed this, she's a huge Saturday Night Live fan. My wife got me back into it. I used to watch it in college, and then I stopped. And then when we met, I started watching it again.
Yeah.
And if you look at the end when he drops the mic, he bends down like he wants to pick it back up because he forgot to say, we have a great show for you. The Foo Fighters are here. So
Yeah.
it's like, he's like, what do I do?
Yeah. Yeah. And then they came back out after the break, and that's when he said, the Foo Fighters and things like that. But it was, I don't know. So there was a couple of things here. Like I have the transcript of the monologue here, and there were a couple of things where I just went, like, oh my God, he just went there. Like his whole part when he was talking about when he says the world feels like a safer place now that America has a new president, and he looks and he goes, "That's great, but America doesn't," and he just stopped. Like, and then he goes, "Do you guys remember what life was like before COVID?" I do. There was a mass shooting every week. Anybody remember that? Thank God for COVID. Someone had to lock these murdering whites up to keep them in the house all summer long. I fucking lost it. I started laughing, and right then, that was at the beginning of the monologue, and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a great.
I mean, it's the ultimate. Hey guys, I know you feel really good about Donald Trump being out, but we hasn't forgot about what it used to be like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people say that, like, if we don't learn from this absolute, and I'm sorry, I know there are people that listen to this that, for some reason, think that orange man in the White House was good. I don't know why.
Because he's a con man.
I mean, he's, all great dictators have one thing in common: that they can capture your interest. They're very charismatic, and that's one of the things. But, if we don't learn from this, it's going to slowly just go back to the way it was with the mass shootings, with, the police brutality and the just systematic racism. And not only that, but just the 1% dominated world we live in the United States. I do have an issue with 1% of our population controlling what the 99% of us do. We need to get some just difference among this. Like, let's make the middle class. Let's be able. I am lucky enough that my wife works a good enough job that I can do what was very common back when my parents, when they had me, or even before that, their parents, where one parent could stay home and you can run a efficient household. We are lucky that we can do that, but we made sacrifices. We bought a house smaller than what we could have gotten. We could have gotten a huge house, but we knew we didn't need it, and we knew it set us up for this. But we need to people who work 40 hours a week being able to survive, not only survive, but be able to stock some money away so they don't have to work the rest of their lives. And right now, anybody who works a normal 40-hour-a-week job can't do that.
I saw something online, and I don't remember it word for word. I'm not going to speak about it verbatim because I just don't remember it. But have you ever stopped to wonder, we always talk about how we live in the greatest country in the world. And you hear that time and time again from, everyone up top to the guy, loading the boats in the harbor, to everything in between, to whatever. Ditch diggers, it doesn't matter. We supposedly live in the greatest country in the world. Have you ever wondered why, like, you go to European country, and you start out with like 6, 7, 8 weeks of vacation a year. They don't work a 40-hour work week.
They work 4 days a week.
They work 4 days a week, and I think they work something like 32 to 36 hours a week or something like that.
They either work 4 8-hour a day, or they work 5 6-hour days or something like that.
They have free healthcare, and by free. It is free. Yes, it's paid for. Yes, it's taxed. Yes, your taxes are higher. But it's free.
But it costs less.
People don't go bankrupt because they had to have an ACL surgery. Right. Or because they had a back surgery. Or because you gave birth. Have you ever wondered why these places in Europe, they get a full year off when they give birth? You get a year.
Even our friends in the Great White North up in Canada. I mean, I assume it's white by now. It's after Thanksgiving, but...
Well, it's been 70, so
I'm pretty sure they get a year. I think
it's possible,
and I think each parent gets something.
Yeah,
like
you know,
I would have got 3. I think it was, geez, I mean, where I used to work, where we both used to work, it was pretty. He was okay with time off when you had a kid or something like that, but I think like you don't get paternity leave at most jobs. I think you get what, 2 days, 3 days.
I remember when I worked at MBNA, that was the first place where you got paternity leave. I got a week off when Jordan was born.
Yeah, and I think that's what I got too through Red Zone was I
Yeah.
got a week.
Yeah, and you were expected to use it. Like they said, you are going to use it. It boggles my mind that we live in a beautiful country.
Parts of it.
No, that country is beautiful. It doesn't matter what state you're in. This is a beautiful land that we live in and live on.
That's true. The land is beautiful. Some of the people are ugly.
Some of the people are ugly. But it boggles my mind how these countries can do this and thrive and prosper. And yet you come to the United States because, you know, you immigrate to the United States, and they have for hundreds of, you know, the last couple hundred years, because it is the land of the free. It is, you know, the land of opportunity. Well, you know what? Is it really?
If you're in 1% of the it is. You have all kinds of opportunities.
If you are a multimillionaire, you're good. You're set. People
100%.
like me, my wife has to work 2 jobs. I work a full-time job that's 50, you know, it's been up to 60 hours a week. It's usually 45 to 50 hours a week. Bust my ass. For what? To retire at 65 to 70 and live for 10 years?
If you can.
If I can. Whereas these European countries, they're traveling in their 20s and 30s, making memories in their 20s and 30s.
Right.
How is it that they can afford this stuff and we say we can't?
And that's what I was getting to with the insurance thing. Kelly and I did the math out. Even, I mean, we did what we estimated a tax increase would be for our tax bracket to cover insurance. You pay more out of pocket than you would through a government-funded healthcare. You just pay more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we pay over $300 for 3 of us on her coverage every 2 weeks. It's like $600 a month. And we still have to pay the first $3,500 out of pocket after copays and shit. It's just dumb. Healthcare is dumb in this country.
Well, you know, it's capitalism, and which I'm okay with. I'm okay with capitalism. I really am. I'm okay with, you know, my friend Heidi, you know Heidi, owns a great business. She has grown it from one store. It's basically, she started out as, you know, dogs, you know, dog treats and dog food and cat food, and it's an animal store like that.
It was your basic pet store.
Basic pet store.
Now she has what, 9 of them?
No, I think it's 7 stores throughout Maine, going from Bangor to Bath to, you know, here in Rockland, Camden,
Waterville.
Waterville. I mean, Hollowell. She's done a fantastic job. That to me is capitalism. She has worked her ass off. Her and her husband have worked their ass off to grow the business to be a success story. Okay. Being gifted millions of dollars because your parents died, and then, you know, and then claiming you're a billionaire, but you've bankrupted how many companies, and yet you keep getting back on your feet because you're a celebrity. I just, this country is so geared towards the rich.
Yeah.
It's you know,
look at these countries like the Netherlands and, you know, places that have publicly funded healthcare, and are their system of life is set up in that way. You have that vacations, or they call them holidays.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you ask me right now, who's the richest man in the Netherlands? You don't know. Who's the second richest guy over there? Who are the famous people over there? Nobody knows. But you know who the richest people in America are. You know who all the celebrities are.
Yeah.
Money.
Yep.
There's a reason it says, "In God we trust" on our money. It's not God we trust. We trust that piece of paper.
It boggles my mind, and I get it. Like, if you go over to the Netherlands, if you go to, Finland or any of these places, that Denmark, yes, they are paying outrageous taxes. Something like 45 to 50% of their income goes to taxes. But you know what you get out of that is you get free education all the way up through college.
Secondary education, yeah.
Free all the way up through college.
Or a trade school.
Or a trade school or whatever.
Education.
Any secondary education. You have free healthcare. And by free healthcare, it's free. Meaning, if I went in for heart surgery, I pay nothing. I come out with a working heart.
And to put that in perspective, folks, my son spent 3 weeks in the NICU in Portland, and without insurance, it would have cost us more than my house.
Yeah. But as it is with your insurance.
Am I grateful? Yes, they saved his life.
It still costs you probably $8 to $10,000.
All said and done, probably.
All said and done.
After out of pocket. And that was just his stay. That wasn't Kelly's stay.
That wasn't Kelly's stay. Yeah. That wasn't you. That wasn't a hotel. That wasn't traveling. Nothing. Yeah. Okay. I am willing to pay more in taxes. I admit it. I will say it. I am saying it right here on a podcast. It's being recorded. It's going to be out there for posterity's sake. I would pay more in taxes if I had free healthcare, if I had free education.
Yep.
If I had, now,
it's a vicious cycle of you get out of high school, you go to college, you get massively in debt. You're in debt when you get out of college. You can't find a place to live around a job that's hiring. So then you have to live with your parents. Then you get off their health care at 26. You're too poor to fix anything that's wrong with you. So now your health declines. Now you start living a worse life than you would because you don't have the job you went to school for. You can't afford to do anything, or you're just giving up and you just file bankruptcy and it sets these kids up for just cycles of failures.
Except for student loans can't be included in bankruptcy.
That's true. So you still own that money.
You still owe the money. So my youngest son, went to college, just graduated in May with a bachelor's degree. He's going to have $60,000 roughly in student loan debt, give or take a few thousand. He can't find a job,
especially in the COVID climate.
Especially in this climate, he's working a couple of they're not menial jobs, a couple of lower paying jobs to help get by.
Right.
Well, his college loans are going to be coming due. He can't afford to get sick.
No.
He can afford to pay. He can afford to pay the things that he can pay. But he's not going to be able to afford anything.
He can't get a house.
He can't get a house.
Buy another car if his breaks.
He's 23 years old, and he's massively in debt because he's been told. And again, I'm part of the problem as a parent. I wanted him to go to college. I wanted him to get a good education. He did. He got a good education. He went to University of Maine, which is a great school.
Sure is. Go Bears.
Go Bears.
That's where I went.
It's a great school. But he's in a position that, frankly, if he lived anywhere else in the world, he wouldn't be in.
That is correct. I mean, there are colleges and universities in England and Europe that have 96% job placement rates when you come out. A lot of them are like, hey, here's 3 people that are hiring in the field that you have a degree in. Apply to all 3. One of them's going to hire you.
Yes.
Like, they just... We need to start thinking more European, and I don't mean like fashion. We always think of the stupid shit when we want to take things from other cultures. Drugs and fashion. Let's take something intelligent like government or like economics from another country and run with that for a while.
I'm again, I'm good with it. I don't know. Maybe I'm an uneducated fuck, but still, I'm
And
good with
don't
it.
and here's the other thing. Lately, from what I am seeing, is all these people are like, oh, we got a Democrat in there now, liberal. Our gas prices are going to go way up. They're going to go through the roof because of this green tax. Here's two things. Number one, dude, you live in Camden. You don't need to drive an F-350. You certainly don't need a diesel. Number two, is your truck pretty enough to have your grandkids more than likely not have a world that's safe to live in air quality wise? They can't go outside because they will literally burn because there's no ozone left. Put your 350 boner down or your diesel boner and just figure out what you need to get to your office job. You don't need a 350 pickup. There's my rants over.
It's a good rant. It is. No, I'm just. I don't know. The older I get, the more I'm getting.
I'm already starting to be like Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino.
Get off
my lawn.
I'm
already that grumpy old man. I'm only 35.
The other thing, and I'm going to go there. I wasn't going to, but I'm going to go there. Is wear your fucking masks.
Jesus Christ!
It's
holy shit. This is not hard.
Your rights aren't being taken away from you. Because
Walmart's just asking you to wear a mask. You can leave your bra and teeth at home.
I'm pretty sure. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure in the Bill of Rights and the U.S. Constitution, there is nothing in there that states that you have a right not to wear a mask or to wear a mask.
Right. It just says you have the right to there's more than 10 things, but the original 10 things were what you have rights to.
Right.
And we should all, especially all those good Christian folk down south, they should know, shouldn't you love thy neighbor?
Well, love thy neighbor, just not have sex with thy neighbor.
Oh, bless their heart.
I just don't understand. And here's the thing. I'm not a fan of wearing a mask. I don't like it. I'm not either.
I have complexion problems as it is. It doesn't help, but
I don't like wearing a mask. But you know what? When I go into a store, I don't care what store it is. Grocery store, Walmart, local store, convenience store. I put my mask on. It's out of respect. It's out of respect for you, and it's out of respect for me and my family. Because I don't want to be the one. I could be asymptomatic. I don't want to get you sick. I don't want to be the one. Now we're in a pandemic. People are like, well, only 1% of people die. Okay, you're right. I get that it's only 1%.
How about we go kill 1% of your family?
But
and we see if you're okay with that.
Here's what I'm going to say. If it's only 1%, take your 10 favorite people.
Get rid of one of them.
One of them's got to die. No, that's 90%. Take your 100 favorite people.
Yeah.
And one of them's got to die. I'm not going to put a finger on someone and go, well, you know what?
Or, hey, you have, your best friend, like absolute best friend. And then you get him sick and he's asymptomatic. Then he gets his mom sick, who you grew up with and used to cook you dinner. And she's 70. And now she dies because you got him sick.
I would feel so bad.
Yeah, exactly.
And I have good friends of mine. They're good friends of both of ours.
Mm-hmm.
That are anti-mask wearing, they're anti-government, they're anti-this, they're anti-that. Don't leave your house.
And well, here's the thing. Kelly says this about, we don't have a Google Home in the house. We don't have an Alexa. We don't have any of those things because she's like, I don't want a listening device in the house. And I go, honey, if they want to listen in on Brian Athern in Rockland, Maine. If that's what the government chooses to listen to that day, God love them. They get to hear an idiot ramble on about sports and bowling. Like, good for them. We
Yep.
all carry a smartphone. We're all tracked anyways.
No,
They all have GPS in them, man. And you think you turn it off. Oh, I turned GPS on my phone off. No, you didn't. The little icon says it's off. You didn't turn shit off.
Oh, God, no. If the U.S. government and NSA wants to spy on me, have at it. Have at it. If they want to watch me take a shit, have at it.
Yeah.
Have good times. Guess what I do when I take a shit? I take my cell phone and I sit back and I sit there and I poop and I scroll.
Yep.
There you go, NSA. I just covered what I do. I'm tired.
Maybe they listen to the podcast. I hope so.
I hope so. That'd be kind of cool. I'm just tired of friends of mine or people I thought were friends of mine being that ignorant and being that stubborn that they can't see beyond their own face to understand that there are other people out there that have differing opinions. I'm tired of it.
And this is where I get into the trouble, because a lot of these people, and I am pro guns. I'm a Second Amendment person. But here's the problem I have. Somebody walks into a store and they go, and they have no mask on, but they're carrying a sidearm. You're like, why do you feel the need to carry a sidearm at the grocery store? Well, don't you feel safer if something broke out? I could protect you. There you go, bud. You walked into the fucking point and you didn't even duck. You're doing something to protect me. Do something else to protect me.
Right.
Granted, it doesn't make you look as cool as when you're carrying a gun on your hip.
And I am pro Second Amendment as well. I was in law enforcement for a short time. I enjoyed my time in law enforcement. I am a believer in the Second Amendment. I am a believer in guns. I have no issue with you owning a gun, with friends owning guns. I have no issue with anyone owning guns. I have no issue with the open carry. It doesn't bother me at all. If it makes you feel better that you are carrying a weapon, I'm okay with that.
And I hate these people like, well, that's what kills people. No. People kill people.
People kill people.
What are you taught when you get behind the wheel of a car in driver's ed? This is a dangerous piece of equipment. You respect it, and it will keep you safe. It's the same ideological with a gun. It's
Same
a
thing.
dangerous piece of equipment, but if you use it right and respect it, it will defend you and it will provide food for you.
Yes. And that's all I got to say about that.
Yep, pretty much.
And that's all I got to say about that.
Getting on to other things, Tim. I know you game. I'm a gamer. It's new console week. Xbox Series X and PS5 came out.
And it will be a year before I get one of them.
Oh, I already looked at Kelly and I'm like, hey, the new Xbox are out. And she looks at me and she goes, yeah. And I go, yeah, like they actually have a financing program through Microsoft. You could pay $35 a month for 2 years and get an Xbox Series X and Game Pass. I mean, it's a credit check. I don't know what the credit has to be. It's through Citibank.
It's probably like everything else. You probably have to have an 800 credit score and.
Oh, probably, or else it'll cost you $80 a month. But no, and she just kind of looked at me and she's like, really? And I go, no. They're out. I just, it's just interesting. That's all.
Look, I would love to have the new PS5 or the Xbox. I would, but I'm not going to pay that type of money for the first iteration of it.
I mean, there's always still things right now. Now you're looking at, okay, are they going to overheat? Are you going to get the 3 red lights of death like you got on the 360? And I've always been a PlayStation guy first. Not always. I was a 360, but then I got my PS4, and I really favor that over my Xbox. But with this new generation, I think I'm going to go Xbox again.
Well, we'll see. I will eventually get one of them. Most likely the PS5, just because I am a PlayStation guy.
Right.
Other than my Xbox 360, which I really liked. But I will eventually get one. I don't know when. It'll be a while, obviously. I'm an adult now, so I have other things, other obligations. Like we have stuff around the house and
Right, and I was an adult, but I could still fit in the video gaming. But now that I'm a dad, yeah, that's yeah, like today I actually was like I got up and he got up with me. We went outside and it's 60 degrees out, by the way. At
I
least it was
know.
this morning.
I know.
And it's November 11th, 12th, 13th, somewhere in there.
And I'm a big boy now because I've got a beard and I've never
Oh,
had
I got
one in my
one
life.
too. I got one
Dude,
too.
I've never had one. This is you know how excited I am that I have a
Well,
beard.
it is No Shave November.
I know, but it's starting to bug me.
And then that goes into December, and then
Oh,
you have
December.
January. Yeah, January.
I like the January. There we go.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
And then you have Fu Manchu February, where you just shave it into a Fu Manchu, and then in March you just shave it up.
My wife would kill me if I went with Fu Manchu.
Like nothing on the chin, just straight mustache all the way down past.
Literally kill me and bury my body and hide it forever, and no one would ever see me again.
To Florida, and you would go see Carol Baskin's house.
I would do so. Yes.
She'll feed you to Little Kitty.
Oh, Little Kitty. Oh my
Little
goodness.
Kitty could probably eat you if she wanted to.
Probably.
Tiger almost just had one.
I'm not. Yeah, I know. I'm not.
Oh wait, never mind. That was his red shirt from last year. Never mind.
I'm trying to focus on our podcast.
Sorry, they just showed the highlight where Molinari had put one in the water last year, and then Woods hit one within a foot and a half for birdie, and you just see Molinari's face go,
"Oh,
I lost."
Oh, so this is what it's like to lose.
Yeah.
Welcome to Tim World.
Hey, we are gonna win Sunday. You shut your mouth.
We might. There is an opportunity to win.
There is.
So,
but
we're over our time.
Oh, we are? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, ranted today.
We ranted a little bit, so that's okay.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. As usual, you can reach out to Brian and I on Ripping the Rack Podcast at gmail.com. Find us on Facebook at Ripping the Rack Podcast, YouTube, Ripping the Rack Podcast, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Anchor Break,
Spotify.
All various places.
You can find me on Twitter, CandlepinKid77. I'm on Snapchat, CandlepinKid.
TJM502 on Twitter, TJM502 on the old Snapchat. So, anywho, listen to us on Tuesday morning. That'll be our next podcast. That'll be bowling.
We'll have highlights from this weekend's main state tournament at Oakland Park Lanes.
And the Pro Series playoffs.
And we'll also have our all-time Canadian men's world team draft.
Let's write that one down so I don't forget that one.
Yeah. Hoagie will be disappointed if we forget it 2 weeks in a row.
Yes. Canadian team draft. There we go.
All right, folks.
All right. Appreciate it. We're out of here.
See ya.